I know there are many ways to make tumblers out there using your Cricut. I wanted to share with you this unique method of combining alcohol inks with vinyl to create these stunning tumblers. Do you like the Coffee Swirl or Galaxy better? Please comment below. Let's get started.
Please subscribe and ring the bell.
Step 2 is to spray paint your cup with black matte spray paint. The key to having no drips is to hold your spray paint can about a foot away and constantly be moving the spray paint can as you move around the cup. After it dries, apply a second coat as needed. Step 3 is to let your cup dry. I let mine dry overnight, but you need to let it dry for a minimum of an hour depending on where you live. Step 4 is to start mixing your epoxy. You want to mix 10 ml of each bottle for a total of 20 ml of Alumilite Clear Cast epoxy. I have attached in the description below the links for all the products that I used in this tutorial. You want to make sure as you're mixing your epoxy you stir very slowly to avoid excess bubbles. Once you start mixing and notice that there are no swirls, you set a timer for 3 minutes and continue mixing until your 3 minutes is up. Then you're ready to start applying that epoxy to your cup. While it is on, you just slowly start pouring the epoxy onto your cup and using your finger or a stick to smooth it on. You want to be careful not to get an excess amount inside of your mug, but you do want to make sure you cover the epoxy onto the bottom of the cup. Once the epoxy is applied to the outside and smooth, now you're ready to apply your alcohol inks. You want to make sure you shake your alcohol ink prior to applying it to your outside of your glass. There's no rhyme or reason, I just randomly drop the inks onto the outside of the cup, making sure that it's covering a majority of the black, including the bottom. The white is actually what brings the colors out and is the most important step in making this cup successful. If you do not take it off of the horizontal spinning, then it will only have swirling going horizontally. If you want to have some vertical movement of the inks and the epoxy, then you take it off the spinner and drip some of the inks, including the white, and holding it still upside down and right side up for just a couple moments and then putting it back on the turner. Then once it continues to turn, it will mix the alcohol inks and the white to get that swirling effect. Feel free in the early stages of making this cup to continue to add different layers of colors onto the outside of your cup. For this particular cup, I continued to add several layers of ink until I was happy with the way it looked. I believe I added around 3 different layers of browns, yellows, oranges, and the white to get the swirling and the look that I wanted, and I think it just turned out amazing. After my epoxy has been applied, I set a timer for 10 minutes. Once that timer goes off, then you can spray the outside of your cup with 91% alcohol. This pops any excess bubbles, and it also makes the outside smooth and shiny. Because the epoxy has not been fully cured, it is still slightly tacky. In order to get your decal onto your cup without pulling off the epoxy, it is very important to make sure that your transfer tape is not super sticky. So I had put it on my shirt and pants just a few times so that it was not going to stick really strongly to the outside of the cup and take off the epoxy that I'd applied the day before. Then you mix one more coating of epoxy. I used 10 mLs, but you can use anywhere from 10 to 20 mLs for the last final coat. The thing to keep in mind is with epoxy, the smaller the volume, the longer it takes to cure. The larger the volume, the quicker it cures, which is kind of opposite of what you would normally believe. So it may take longer for the second coat to dry than the first coat. And you want to make sure that this is fully cured for 3 to 7 days prior to using.
Give her a thumbs up.